We are in the final third of the 2025 F1 season, and the Constructors' Championship's basically over. McLaren have run away with it, and to be honest, they've run away with the Drivers' Championship as well. Piastri and Norris are the only contenders, so instead of talking about what's been going on so far this season with every driver, we're just going to focus on what's been going on in the championship and how the fuck we've gotten to this point. The first race of the season in Australia started Norris P1, Piastri P2, and then lap 17. It's a bit wet on the track. Verstappen locks the front left, goes deep into turn 11. That puts Piastri up to P2. Lap 44, when Norris and Piastri at the exit of turn 2, they run wide. Norris saves it, Piastri spins, gets stuck on the grass at the exit of turn 13. He spends about a minute trying to recover, manages to recover, and rejoins P15. Norris won that race. Piastri recovered to ninth, overtaking Hamilton on the last lap. This leaves the championship gap after Australia, 24-point lead to Lando Norris. After that, it was China. In the sprint race, Piastri finished second and Norris 8th. Not going to go much into that, I don't care about the sprints. And in the main race, Piastri starts pole and wins. Norris starts third, overtakes Russell for second at turn 2. And they finish 1-2 with Piastri winning, obviously, as I said before. The championship gap, Norris leads by 10 points. Next it was Japan. It was Max on pole, Norris and Piastri second and third. Lap 21, Norris and Verstappen pit. Verstappen has a 3.3 second stop, whereas Norris has a 2.3. They come out side by side, Verstappen holds his line and Norris just drives into the grass. Fucking idiot. He nearly spins, but manages to hold it after going at a 45-degree angle, opposite lock, and somehow doesn't DNF. It finishes Verstappen, Norris and Piastri 1, 2, 3. The championship gap, Norris leads by 13 points. Bahrain, Piastri on pole, Norris 5th. Norris rolls forward a bit in his grid box before the start and gets a penalty for being out of position. And just as a side note in this race, Russell's transponder was fucking up the time and tower, so I have no idea who was where at any point. Norris finished third and Piastri wins. The championship gap, Norris leads by 3 points. In Saudi Arabia, Norris crashed in Q3 and Piastri starts P2. He dive bombs Verstappen into T1, who cuts the corner and is given a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Norris starts P10 after crashing and charges through the field, overtaking Sainz, Hamilton, Russell and Antonelli to finish P4. The championship gap, Piastri leads by 10 points. In Miami, the sprint race, Antonelli starts from pole with Piastri P2 and Norris P3. Piastri gets Antonelli into turn 1 and goes on to win. Norris finishes second. In the main race, Norris starts second behind Verstappen and Piastri 4th behind Antonelli. Norris tries to switch back Verstappen after he locks and goes deep into turn 1, but is walked off the track by Verstappen as he has a snap of oversteer. This drops him behind Piastri, Antonelli and Russell. On lap 7, Norris passes Russell off the exit of turn 3, a good move. On lap 9, Norris passes Antonelli at turn 11. Lap 10, Piastri forces Verstappen to defend into the hairpin, giving him a run down to turn 1. He has a sniff, but Verstappen defends the inside. Lap 13, Verstappen defends the inside into the hairpin again, which allows Piastri a run down to turn 1. Piastri pulls alongside as Verstappen defends, but switchbacks him into turn 1 as Verstappen locks the front right and goes deep. Lap 14, Norris forces Max to defend into the hairpin and has a run into turn 1, but is forced wide. Lap 17, Norris dives into turn 11, forces Max off the track. Max then dives into the hairpin and re-overtakes cleanly as Lando has been told to return the position. Lap 18, Norris drives past Max on the run down to turn 11. It's just in a straight line with DRS. By that point, Piastri had gapped them, so he wins the race and Norris is second. The championship gap is Piastri leading by 16 points. In Imola, Piastri starts P1 and Max dive bombs him into turn 1. Norris starts P4 behind Russell. Nothing much happened until lap 29 when Ocon pulls over to the side with an issue bringing out the virtual safety car. Piastri pits from second and comes out fourth, 18 seconds behind his teammate. On lap 46, Antonelli pulls over with an issue bringing out the full safety car. Verstappen and Norris pit, with Norris coming out behind Piastri. Lap 58. Norris drives round the outside of Piastri at turn 1 to take second. The championship gap, Piastri leads by 13 points. Monaco was absolute shit. They tried some new thing where every team had to complete 2 mandatory pit stops, but every team had their second driver hold up everyone behind their first driver to give them space to fall into. It was fucking bollocks. Norris won from pole, Piastri finished third. Championship gap, Piastri leads by 3 points. In Spain, Piastri starts first, Norris second. Verstappen gets Norris at turn 1, however later in the race Norris re-overtakes and Verstappen's race goes to shit. Piastri wins that race, Norris P2, the championship gap goes to 10 points. In Canada, Norris starts 7th and Piastri starts P3. Antonelli drops him down to P4 on the first lap and Norris's charge begins. By the time he came out of the pits on lap 30, he was 5th and 6.4 seconds off Piastri in 4th. By lap 40, the gap was 5 seconds. He pit again on lap 47 and came out 3.7 seconds behind. On lap 50, the gap had gone back down to 4.3 seconds. But when he crossed the line to start lap 59, the gap was 1.2. Lap 60, he's 7 tenths off, he's getting close. He has the pace. All he has to do is keep calm and not make any mistakes or take any risks. Lap 66, he dives down the inside into the hairpin. Piastri switches to the inside on exit and has a better run down the back straight. They're side by side all the way down the straight. Piastri breaks later into the chicane, but Norris has a run going down to turn 1 and
untouched. The front wing has gone, and Lando Norris is out of this race.
He moves into a closing gap and hits Piastri and breaks his fucking suspension on the barrier, for fuck's sake. Piastri finishes 4th and the championship gap goes up to 22 points. In Austria, Norris starts on pole, Piastri P3. Piastri passes Leclerc into turn 1 after Norris compromised his line and has a look round the outside at turn 3 but can't get past. Antonelli dive bombs into turn 3 and takes out Verstappen, and the safety car comes out. It ends on lap 3, and Norris makes a good restart and holds the lead. Piastri has a run up the hill, passes Norris on the outside, but then Lando moves across and cuts back to the inside to try and get a better exit. He pulls alongside on the run to turn 4 and repasses on the inside. Lap 14 going on to 15. Norris runs wide at the final corner. That gives Piastri a run into turn 1, and he holds back in the hope of passing in one of the other DRS zones, as this will reduce the chance of Lando repassing. But unfortunately for him, it doesn't pay off. On lap 20, Piastri moves to the inside going into turn 4, has a look, dives, locks the front left, nearly takes them both out. Norris pits, 3.1 second stop, as the front left doesn't go on immediately. On lap 24, Oscar pits, 3.4 seconds, front left, once again the fucking issue, this time it doesn't come off properly. The gap is 5.5 seconds when he comes out. He can't get close enough and finishes 2nd and 2.7 seconds behind Norris. Championship gap, Piastri leads by 14 points. At Silverstone, Norris started 3rd, Piastri 2nd. On lap 2, the VSC comes out for Lawson, having stopped on the Wellington straight. On lap 6, VSC for Bortoletto, having stopped after spinning at turn 2 and having to retire to avoid spreading debris on the track. Piastri passes Max for 1st with DRS down the hangar straight on lap 8, and on lap 11, Norris passes Max for 2nd after he goes off at Chapel. Piastri, Norris and Verstappen pit for fresh inters. Norris has a 5.1 second stop, which drops him back behind Verstappen. On lap 14, the safety car comes out because of how fucking wet the track is. You know, instead of just putting them on fucking full wet. You know, the tyre's designed for that. Anyway, lap 17, the safety car ends. Lap 18, the safety car comes back out because Isaac Hadjar has driven into the back of Antonelli at Copse. To be fair, he couldn't see anything. Lap 21, the safety car ends. Piastri brakes heavily to create a gap to allow it to pit. Verstappen spins on the exit of Stowe, pushing Norris up to P3. On lap 25, the FIA give Oscar a 10-second penalty for safety car infringement. Norris wins, Piastri 2nd. Championship gap, Piastri leads by 8 points. In Belgium, Piastri starts the sprint on pole and Norris 3rd. It finishes Norris P3 and Piastri P2. In the main race, Norris starts on pole, Piastri 2nd. It's a rolling start because the track was too fucking wet. Once again, full wets exist. Norris slides out of La Source. It gives Piastri a run through Eau Rouge and down the Kemmel Straight. Piastri takes the lead. On lap 12, Piastri pits for medium tyres, comes out 19.4 seconds behind Lando, yet to pit. Lap 13, Norris pits for hards, comes out 6 seconds behind Piastri. Lap 26, he's got the gap down to 7.7 seconds. He clearly has the pace to catch Piastri. He just needs to avoid making any mistake, and he's run wide at Pouon. Of course he ran wide at Pouon. For fuck's sake, Lando. He cost himself about 2 seconds. And that's fine, but he'll need to pick the pace up now. Lap 34. It's getting a bit tight now, but he's gaining. We could see a fight yet. Lap 43. And he's locked up again into turn 1. As if he hasn't made enough mistakes. Piastri P1, Norris P2. The championship gap, 16 points. In Hungary, Norris starts 3rd, Piastri 2nd. Norris is overtaken by Russell off the line and Alonso into turn 2. On lap 3, Norris passes Alonso down the main straight with DRS, putting himself back up to 4th. On lap 18, Piastri pits for hards. followed a lap later by Leclerc and Russell. On lap 31, Norris pits for hards, going for a one-stop. On lap 45, Piastri pits with an 8-second gap to Norris, comes out 12 seconds behind on fresh hards. On lap 51, Piastri drives past Leclerc with DRS down the main straight, takes second and is 9 seconds behind Norris. The gap closes to 3 seconds by lap 60. He has 10 laps left to make the move. He's within 1 second in 5. On lap 69, he moves to try and dive into turn 1. Unlocks the front right and nearly hits Lando. Consistency. However, a little bit of mitigation. Norris does appear to move a little towards the inside before he properly turns for the corner. They finish 1 and 2. The championship gap is Piastri leading by 9 points. In Zandvoort, Piastri starts P1, Norris P2. It was only a few weeks ago, surely you know that nothing much happened. So instead, I'll just talk about the big incident. On lap 65, Norris pulls over with an issue and retires from the race. This is important because in 2016, Hamilton retired from the Malaysian Grand Prix with an engine issue. Rosberg came third, gaining 15 points on Hamilton. Hamilton retired from the lead, which would have got him 13 points over Rosberg, which is a 28-point swing. He lost the championship that year by 5 points. Not finishing that race cost him the 23 points he would have won that championship by. Norris retired from second. This meant Piastri gained 26 points on him instead of the 8 he would have. This is a 17-point swing. This means if he loses the championship by 17 points or less, he got unlucky because of this failure in the race. The championship gap is Piastri leads by 34 points. And in Monza, the most recent race, unless this video doesn't come out until after Azerbaijan, Max started pole, Norris second and Piastri third. Lando is forced onto the grass by Max off the line. He dives down the inside into turn 1. Max cuts the corner and is told to give the position back, which he does into turn 1. This gives Piastri a look down the inside, which doesn't pay off and compromises his run, allowing Leclerc to pass him round the Curva Grande. Lap 4. Lando defends into turn 1, Verstappen dives round the outside and is able to keep it on track. At the same time, Leclerc locks up and has to cut the corner, which Piastri notes on his radio. On lap 6, Piastri drives past Leclerc on the outside into turn 1 and takes third. On lap 45, Piastri pits to cover off Leclerc, undercutting him. A 1.9 second stop onto softs, very good. On lap 46, Norris pits onto softs, but has a very slow stop with his front left wheelman not realising the tyre wasn't on properly. A 5.9 second stop, dropping in behind Piastri. On lap 48, Piastri is told to let Lando pass because of his slow stop, which Piastri does. He chases Lando the remaining 5 laps but cannot overtake him. They finish second and third. The championship gap, Piastri leads by 31 points. That is the F1 2025 championship battle so far.